Hello, my name is Rick Jackson. I'm CEO of Jackson Healthcare and also chairman of FaithBridge Foster Care. Really, the reason that this touched me is because I was one of those kids that did not have a future, and that by circumstances out of my control, grew up in a very dysfunctional family. I had no father. I had 7 or 8 stepfathers. My mother was an alcoholic. She was a very sweet woman that was just incapable of taking care of me. She was a waitress and had to work at nights and weekends, and so when I was a baby, I stayed at weeks at a time at family's home to take care of me. But then through that, I went to 8 different elementary schools. My mother, because she was an alcoholic, was very abusive and very dysfunctional. My uncle, who was crippled, he was a paraplegic. In fact, at that time, he had lost his legs, but we were visiting with him, and I told him I didn't want to be around my mother anymore because I was scared about her drinking and her abusiveness. And so he took his welfare check. He was in Stone Mountain at the time, and hired a taxi to take me. He said there are other alternatives, and so he took me to the Family and Children's Services. I then went into a temporary home for about 60 or 90 days. They call it a receiving home, and then was introduced to a family to be a foster child. I didn't know it, but they wanted to interview me, and so we went to interview. I think they wanted to make sure that I wouldn't pollute their family, because they also had other children, and I would be the oldest one at 13. And so they did take me in, and so they were a Christian family. It was the first time that I saw people pray around the table. It's one of the few times I've ever seen anybody eat at the table, and so as a family unit. And so obviously I went to church and so forth. But that forever changed my vision. Even when I left there after a while, as a child, I always knew that's what I wanted to have when I grew up. That's the kind of family that I wanted when I grew up. So the benefit of being in a family, a Christian family like that, showed me the vision and showed me how that a functional family could work and how doing the right thing works. Because of that environment, that made a huge difference in my life, and what I've tried to do in my life. And so I want to pay back and help others to see that as well. So when Bill came to me and said that the church should own this problem, it immediately resonated with me. Children often are put in situations that they have no control over, and so to be put in a family that is dysfunctional or doesn't have parents, or that's abusive, or has parents that are in jail or whatever, is not their fault. And so my purpose is to give them an alternative way to create a future for themselves and create a vision of a future family for themselves as well.